Let's head on to the G5 for our last full breakdown and preview of Week 8. The G5 game of the week is Old Dominion and James Madison. This matchup is awesome. A couple of high-flying teams with some pretty convincing wins on their schedule and really trying to make a push in the Sun Belt late in the season. It's the G5 game of the week for a reason. Gentlemen, let's break it down. Reese, go first.
Yeah, I mean, if we know anything about this Old Dominion team is when they want to get that offense going, they can do it. Colton Joseph and Traquan Jones are both running the ball extremely well. They're both 30 yards shy of 500 on the year already. Not to mention Joseph is also throwing the ball well, too. He's got over 1,300 yards, but his issue is turning the football over. He's already got 6 picks through the air, and then offensively as a unit, they have 15 turnovers. Like, you cannot afford to do that going on the road against this James Madison team, who is a well-put-together team. Talk about that offense. The issue with James Madison, I was able to find out, they are very penalized on that side of the ball, so they cannot get themselves into situations where you're looking to get 6. You can't have those holding calls, those pre-snap penalties, things like that, because Old Dominion, I just talk about that offense. Like, if they can get themselves going, they're going to get going, as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot in this spot. And then getting this game in Harrisburg is going to be massive for JMU. And Old Dominion, we had that letdown spot last week against Marshall where you gave up the 48 and you just didn't look like the team that we all like. They kind of just came out of nowhere. They absolutely dominated Coastal. And then you had that letdown spot. So I just think this is a spot too where you kind of have that sour taste in your mouth. You're going on the road, a huge conference game. I think Joseph and the boys are going to get a little fired up and they're going to get that offense going.
JP.
Yeah, you made a good point on the Old Dominion offense. Could rebuttal with that and tell you that JMU's got one of the better G5 defenses in the country. This is a defense only giving up 2.6 yards a carry. They've been challenged through some pieces, and it's really good through defending the pass. It's really good against the run as well. It's a little strength on strength, right? Like your ODU is going to run it. They got a 2-headed monster in that Reese covered. Can JMU slow that down and really make Joseph go through the air and make plays without turning it over? On the flip side, JMU's ran the ball really well as well. Like, if you look back like the last couple of years, I feel like James Madison's been good running the ball, but Barnett's been able to really let it fly through the air, and they've gotten big plays and gash guys. They feel like they've leaned more into kind of that run game a little bit more here. And Old Dominion is not bad against the run, but it's definitely not their strength. And so that's a bad matchup there. And if Barnett's got to throw it, gunslinger, man. Guy just wants to make plays downfield in the vertical passing game. That's kind of where ODU's been better. I mean, they went and played some power conference teams, and they've been really good defensively through the air and making sure people don't make plays. 7.6 yards per play for ODU is 3rd in the country, by the way. Like, just to back up kind of what Reese was saying, that's pretty high up there. James Madison's been really good as well, that direction. So you are looking at a matchup of two teams where strength on strength, but then we flip things to James Madison on the offensive side of things, and you start to see little pieces where the Dukes have a chance to really lean on this Monarch defense and beat them in the long run.
Yeah, they obviously, the key to success here is JMU slowing the rush game down, and I think they're going to put themselves in a really good spot. At the end of the day, that's what Old Dominion wants to do. It's about a 60-40% split in favor of the rush, which is pretty much opposite for a majority of programs in America. And James Madison's been, again, very good on defense. And one key stat that JP probably knew but didn't say is how good they've been on 3rd down. They're only giving up 30% conversion rate on 3rd down. And to get them at home, Old Dominion, you asking them to convert when last week they only went 4 for 14 against Marshall is a really tough thing to do to make that jump in a week, especially playing an experienced and really well-coached defense in James Madison. So if they're going to find success, 1, they've got to run. 2, they've got to extend drives and keep JMU's offense off the field, because once they're out there, they can be consistent enough at home to really control the clock and take control of this game. So you got to favor James Madison based on paper, to be honest with you. And what happened last week, it was a real, I don't want to say a hangover spot because it didn't feel
they
like
were looking ahead to this one.
Yeah, it could have been a look ahead spot for sure. And in that case, maybe we get a different 47-7 version of Old Dominion where they handled Coastal the way they did, like Reese mentioned. But James Madison feels equally prepared for this spot. I like their defense. I think defense wins championships and defense wins big games. And at home, you got to give them the edge, right? So that's where I'm sitting in my mind. Maybe I can be convinced otherwise. What do you think, Reese? Old Dominion on the road, can they get it done, or does James Madison cover the number here?
The stat that concerns me is the 15 turnovers as an offense against this James Madison defense you guys keep highlighting too. And then James Madison just runs the ball extremely
A
well
lot.
too. They're averaging 230 on the ground as well. And Wayne Knight's just out of the backfield. He's averaging over 6 a carry too. So all of those stacking up, I think, and with the line being as short as it is, Old Dominion's got to go in there. They got to be high flying. They can't afford to turn the ball over. I just think James Madison's in a better spot here. You talk about Barnett trying to make plays downfield against a veteran secondary, but I'll take JMU in this spot just because I think they're going to get that ground game going and they'll be more successful with that.
Yeah, and one thing that we should have brought up, and it was earlier in the season, so things have changed, is James Madison got into early in that game. It was a dogfight with Louisville and what they wanted to do. And we've seen Louisville's offense struggle at times, but they're good enough to score against what James Madison should be. That's just the G5 difference between Louisville, who at that time was a top 20 team, I believe. They were really good and they were leading that game. So if they can get off to that sort of start, really get Old Dominion out of that consistent drive feeling or their repetitions, or what am I trying to say here, guys? Help me out. They're trying to get out of their rhythm.
There you go.
Can't find any rhythm. If they can't find a rhythm, they're going to struggle. And I think James Madison covers this number easily, probably wins the game by 10. And I think their defense is capable of doing so. I think they're going to force a couple of turnovers on third downs. Colton Joseph trying to force a few things when he's forced to throw the ball. So I like the Dukes at home to cover the number and win. JP.
Yeah, I think Old Dominion will get theirs. I don't think it's an offense you can completely shut down, but I am going to take James Madison here. I think it's a matchup offensively when the Dukes are had the football. It's going to be a little tougher for the Monarchs to slow them down. And so that's where I'll go here. I'll take the home team here minus the short number. I do think the ODU loss last week kind of stinks, but I think it was 100% a look at spot. They thought they were going to roll Marshall, found out the hard way. You got to play every game, all 12 of them.
All right, there it is. That's a G5 game of the week. James Madison, big time spot. We'll see if the Dukes can get a big win at home this weekend. I believe that's a Saturday 2:30 kick. Tune into that one. Always support the G5 like we do here at Play the Fight Song.